Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In this video I have one integral to evaluate, and it's the integral from 1 up to 4 of x plus square root of x over 1 plus square root of x dx. Now the approach is as follows. I am going to ignore the limits at the start, evaluate the integral, and then come back and consider the limits right at the end. It's quicker that way, and I want you to try it out by changing the limits from x to u. We're going to use u-substitution here, and then let's see how many minutes you take to evaluate this. I am going to consider the limits at the end, like I said. So what we have is, this is our page 1 here. We have the integral from 1 up to 4 of x plus square root of x all over 1 plus square root of x dx. Like I said, I'm going to evaluate this integral of x plus square root of x all over 1 plus square root of x dx, and then I'll get back and consider the limits at the end. So what are we saying? We're saying this integral is the same as the integral from x of x all over 1 plus square root of x dx, and then I'm going to say plus. I'm using term-wise division now. Divide this expression into x and then plus into that. The integral of square root of x all over 1 plus square root of x dx, like that. This one splits into these two integrals. You can see that I have actually done term-wise division and distributed the integral and the dx at the same time. So this is what we get. At this point, I'm going to let u squared be equal to x. The reason I'm doing that is because we have square root of x here and we have square root of x here and there as well. Now, what do we do next? Well, we can obtain two equations from this. The first one is to take the positive square root on both sides. You're going to get u on the left, on the right, you're going to get square root of x. And notice that square root of x, you can write it as x power 1 over 2, which is simplifies to x power 1 over 2, like that. We're going to need this form right at the end. Right. The second equation we're going to obtain is by differentiating both sides. So I'm going to say derivative with respect to x of u squared must be equal to derivative with respect to x of x. Now, what do we have on the left? Chain rule, 2u du dx. On the right hand side, derivative with respect to x of x is just 1. Multiply by dx both sides. You're going to get 2u du is equal to dx. Nice. Now, these two integrals can be transformed now as follows. Taking us to the next page, which is our page 2. Let me move this one down. So what are we saying now? What we're saying is, if you check, we're basically saying these two integrals that you can see. Let me move this further down. All right. These two integrals that you can see here will be transformed as follows. This is page 3. Page 2 is down there. No, this is page 1, page 2 actually. So this is page 2. So we're now saying those integrals, which are these integrals? This one and that one will change as follows. I will have in the numerator of the first part, I will have u squared all over 1 plus square root of u squared. And then instead of having dx, I'm going to have 2u du. And then we have to say plus, that plus sign there. And then we have the integral of square root of u squared all over 1 plus square root of u squared, and then 2u du. Fantastic. Now let me move this one up like this. I'm going to keep this one away because I'm done with that part. Now I have to bring these pages in the center here. Right. Now, so what we have now is, let's clean up. What we have now is, this is the same as the integral of multiply these two out, so, and keep 2 out because a constant 2 times u cubed, integral of u cubed all over 1 plus u. Remember that the square root, positive square root of u squared is just u. This cancels that, and you have u there. What are we saying? We're saying du. And then plus, take the 2 out also there. 2 times the integral. That cancels that. So we have u times u. It will be u squared all over 1 plus. Again here it will be u and du. Fantastic. Now I'm going to introduce what I call the special zero in the numerator and the numerator there. What are we saying? We're saying 2 times the integral. Watch this. U cubed plus 1. And I'm going to say minus 1. There is your special zero right there. There is your special zero, that. But I'm not cancelling because there's something I want to do. We're dividing that by, let me rewrite 1 plus u to u plus 1. And then du plus 2. And here I'm going to introduce the special zero again. But here in terms of difference of 2 squares over u plus 1 du. But I have to say plus 1 here. Yeah, I have to say plus 1. Otherwise, I shall have changed the integral, and I don't want to do that. So let me delay this. And I will wait until it dries. I'm going to have to say plus 1 and then du at the end there. All right, so let's get to the next step. Now, term-wise division now. Keep the 2 out times the integral, and I'm going to do this. U cubed plus 1 over u plus 1. And then I'm going to say minus 1 over u plus 1 and times du outside there. And then we have to say plus this part. Remember I said plus 1 because we don't have to change this integral here. So we say minus 1, we have to say plus 1. So 2, here we go, integral, and I'm going to say open brackets, u squared minus 1 over u plus 1. And then I'm going to say plus, remember I said minus 1, I have to say plus 1 over u plus 1. And then we're saying du. Fantastic. Now, I want to fix that thing before I forget. I want to fix this part here. But the correction fluid I'm using here may be actually too slow to dry up. So, yeah, it's drying. I must put a plus 1 there. Otherwise, I'll end up forgetting. So, we're saying plus 1. Like so. And then du. Fantastic. Now, you can see that's another special zero. What I want to talk about, this one here, it's another special zero there. Basically, we're not changing the integral. We're not changing that integral there. We're keeping it the same. But remember, we are taking advantage of the fact that u squared minus 1 simplifies or factorizes to u plus 1, u minus 1. So here we have sum of 2 cubes. Sum of 2 cubes over here in the numerator, that's sum of 2 cubes, which factorizes as follows. The space I have here is not sufficient. I want to move to the next page, page 3. Page 3, and what am we saying? We are saying what we have is that integral, those two integrals simplify as follows, is equal to 2 times the integral. Watch this now, open brackets. This one here now, I'm going to say u plus 1 in one bracket. The other bracket will be u squared, and then u times 1 is u. The sign here is plus. I change there to minus, and then plus 1 times itself is 1. That's how you factorize the sum of 2 cubes. That's how you factorize the sum of 2 cubes. Let me just, I feel very strongly here that I should talk about that briefly. So if I'm given a cubed, and then I'm told plus b cubed, let me factorize them side by side. On the other side, I have a cubed minus b cubed. The sum of 2 cubes, the difference of 2 cubes. Factorization of this, the first bracket contains this cube root of this is a, cube root of that is b. You respect the sign there. Same story here, cube root of this is a, cube root of that is b. Respect the sign. But the second bracket will be as follows. A times itself, a squared. A times b, ab. A times itself, a squared. A times b, ab. The sign here is plus, I must have a minus there. The sign here is minus, I must have a plus sign there. And then a b times b is b squared. B times b, this b times itself is b squared. This is how you factorize the sum and difference of two cubes. So if I have u cubed plus 1, I can write this as u cubed plus 1 cubed. Remember, 1 cubed is just 1. And then I can use this technique as follows. So what are we saying? We're saying this is all over u plus 1. That one there. And then I have to say minus 1 over u plus 1. And then du. Plus, coming down here, would have 2 times the integral. Watch this. U minus u squared minus 1. We're going to say u plus 1. Difference of two squares, u minus 1. What are we saying? All over u plus 1. And we have to say plus 1 over u plus 1 and then du. Now simplifying what we can, you can clearly see that this cancels that and this cancels that. So what do we have on the first part? This will be 2 times the integral, and I'm going to say u squared minus u plus 1, that part, and then minus 1 over u plus 1 du, plus this part here is going to be 2 times the integral u minus 1, integral of u minus 1, and then plus 1 over natural 1 over u plus 1, going ahead of myself there, and then du. Now I'm going to distribute the integral and the du, and the same story here, and then we can simplify it quickly and then go back to our original variable. Right, let me put this aside. We're going to need that one later. Right, so now what are we saying now? We have 2 outside, the first part there, 2, and we're saying, allow me now to use a bracket outside, the integral of u squared du minus the integral of u du, and then plus the integral of 1 du minus the integral of 1 over u plus 1 du, close brackets, then plus, now I'm here now, 2 times the integral of, and I want to use the bracket outside there, integral of there, u du minus the integral of 1 du, and then plus the integral of 1 over u plus 1 du. Now, fantastic. Now, let's evaluate these integrals, and then I'm going to have 2 outside, like this. This is u squared, u cubed over 3. Remember, you add 1, and then divide by the power, or the result. And then here, it's going to be minus u squared over 2, and then plus u there. And then this is going to be minus natural log of u plus 1. I'm done with the first part. And then plus, we're here now, 2 open brackets. This is going to be u squared over 2 minus u plus natural log of u plus 1, like so. And remember now, I can't say plus c because we have limits at the beginning. Remember, we'll have to revert to our original variable and then consider the limits. So this is page, just keep track of the pages. We had, this was page 2. I think this is where we're coming from. And then yeah, this was page 2. Now we have page 3. Page 1, page 2. Yeah. Yes, this is page 3. Just put page 3 there. Right, now going to page 4 and perhaps completing this. Now what are we saying? We now have that being equal to distribute the 2/3 u power 3 and then minus u squared. Remember, this 2 cancels that 2, plus 2u minus 2 natural log of u plus 1, and then plus distribute the 2. Let me move this one down. Fantastic. If you distribute the 2 here, it's going to be u squared minus 2u This is page 4. Page 4. I am not happy with that 4, but it's fine. We can see it. So multiply by 2, by 2, by 2, and so on. So now we're going to have this times that. These 2 cancels that 2. We have u squared, and it's a plus u. And then we have minus 2u. And then we have plus 2 natural log of u plus 1. Now there's something interesting that you can see here. This cancels that. This cancels that. This cancels that. Our final result we left with is 2 over 3 u cubed. Now let me take you back to page 1. On page 1, remember this is page 1. What did I say? U is square root of x, and square root of x is x power 2/3, power 1 over 2. Square root of x is x power 1 over 2. So this is the same as 2 over 3. Remember, x power 1 over 2, we're saying power 3. And this is 2 over 3, x power 3 over 2. Now, this is our original variable. Then we're going to say, therefore, the integral of x plus square root of x all over 1 plus square root of x dx from 1 to 4. Remember, that's our original integral. Let me just show you where it is. Where is it? I must have it somewhere. This one here. Our limits of integration are 1 up to 4. So now I can consider 1 up to 4 on our final step. So this must simplify to 2 over 3 x power 3 over 2, evaluating from 1 up to 4, right? So what does this mean? This means the following. I want to move to the next page. Yeah, maybe here first. So this is going to be 2 over 3. Watch what I'm going to do now. This is the same as square root of x all cubed from 1 up to 4. Now let's evaluate that, page 5, and we're done. Page 5. So what are we saying? We're saying that is 2 over 3, and we're saying square root of 4 cubed minus square root of 1 cubed. This is 2 over 3. What is square root of 4? 2 cubed minus what is square root of 1? 1, and we cube it. This is 2 over 3. And what do we have here? 8 minus 1. And we have 2 over 3 times 7. And the answer is 14 over 3 as your final solution. Right, tell me what you think about that. I hope you found that useful. I'm going to stop here. Your support, feedback is greatly valued. All right, see you next time.